Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be setting up my new Commonplace notebook. I'll decorate the pages as I discuss how I'm using commonplacing to organize and declutter my life. So let's jump in. And I've got these washi tapes here ready to go, along with this other washi tape I'll use as well. These paper pads that I'll be using. This stamp kit and ink pad, this set of die-cut stickers, along with some PET stickers, and these small talk stickers, which I'll pull from. Okay, guys, so this is my new Commonplace notebook or journal, or however you say it. I just call it my Commonplace book. I am using a cover that I recently got from Create a Notebook. I really like the structure of it. The size is A5 and includes a little band, which I really like, as well as a little pin loop. On the inside, I've added in a pocket that I recently got from Daiso to hold this sheet of dot washi stickers that I'll be using. And then the paper itself is from Planything. I'm using her dot grid pre-punched A5 paper. And so these dots that I'll be using in this notebook, I grabbed from Amazon a few years ago. I'm just reusing those. But since they're on a roll, I've put them here on a sticker sheet so that I can easily access them on the fly when I need them. As you can see, I've already started to set up the look and feel of this notebook. I've got a cover page here, which I used a few items on, including this Fudonosuke brush tip pen and a stamp, along with some of the stickers and washi tapes I'm showing you here. I also am pulling in some of these quote stickers and these antique vintage papers. The vintage papers are from a Da Vinci set that I got from Journal Say, and then I also am using just that labeling booklet of papers from Journal Say as well on the cover. So next we have the key for this Commonplace book. So this is the heart of commonplacing. What you do is you categorize random things you want to remember by color using this color dot system. It's the most common. And then as you write things in, you can kind of color code each entry so you know exactly what category it corresponds to. Another thing that I found is going to be useful is my little foam memo printer here. It's a small black and white thermal printer, but it makes it super easy for you to add images on the fly using your phone. So I thought that this would really come in handy. I've also set these up in a Cornell Notes style where there is a margin, a slightly larger margin than you would normally see, in order to add in any add-ins, notes, references to the content that I'll be collecting here in this notebook. I thought that would be a good way just to kind of keep things simple in case I, write something down and then realize, I wanted to add a notation to it. I thought that that system would work really well for me, but you don't have to do that. It's just a pretty common way to commonplace so that it gives you the ability to add in notes and references like I mentioned. I'm going to go ahead and set up some of these pages with that margin, and I'm just using a fine liner for that. I've already started to build out this notebook with notes from my screenshots collection on my phone. So if you follow my channel, you'll know that this month is a big declutter month for me, but mainly in my digital realm. So on my phone, I often use screenshots in order to help me remember things that I see on social media or just around, little notes or tips or just things that I want to remember, and then it goes into my screenshot folder to get lost forever. So that kind of prompted me to figure out a better solution for managing those types of items, which is what led me to this commonplacing system. Commonplacing really began way, way back when, I think back with the Greeks, and I don't know all the history, but basically it's a way for you just to collect things you want to remember from books, quotes, ideas in one place and easily find what you want at a glance. That's where the color coding comes in, but because I'm using a Discbound, I have a little bit more freedom than from what most people use, which is a bound notebook, which kind of locks you in, but the color coding system really helps you identify each entry as a specific category and allows you to find it that way. But I thought, I'm a Discbound girl. I love the ability to take out pages, to move pages around, and I thought that would be most useful in this commonplacing book that I'm building out right now. It allows me to organize these items by category, and I can keep certain pages for certain categories and always add additional pages behind them so that the category can just continuously grow without worrying about the pages being locked in a bound format. I may eventually end up adding in dividers as well to this, but for now I'm just going to stick with the color coding system while it's still fairly small till it gets built out a bit more and then figure out where I want to go from there. I wanted this book to be engaging as well, so I've decided that I'm going to add just a bit of decor throughout the book. That way I know that it'll be fun to look at, and so it will push me to be in this book more often and not lose all of those resources and insights to, lack of use. I find that if something is nice to look at, it's just more engaging for me. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to go ahead and set up some of the pages that I've already created and give them a little bit of this decor that I've started from the beginning. So basically, I'm just adding a small bit on the front and the back, like a little cluster on each, trying not to take up too much functional space, but giving each of the pages a little something extra to look at, including the background, either it being the cardstock backer from Da Vinci or even the Da Vinci washi tape that I pulled in. Side note, I thought that Da Vinci was a perfect connection to this commonplacing since like I said, I believe it started way back in the Greek times. So it's kind of got an ancient history. I'm also adding in just some other items that I've collected. I have those film strip die cut stickers, which I think are really cute, and mainly to add a pop of black. And also I'm adding in some black with the quote stickers there that I got from Amazon. But for the most part, that's what I've decided will be the theme of this commonplace book. Everything that I'm using will be linked down below in the description if you want to know more about a specific product or item. So I'm going to continue working on the pages, adding a little bit more, and then I'll talk about just commonplacing in general and how you might use it in your planning or organization system. So I've added that key in the beginning, as I mentioned, and color-coded some major categories that I constantly save items for on my phone and want to have an easy reference for. I found that this is really helpful in collecting items into one spot. So that was one of the big things that I felt like was just not working for me in general, as far as all of the reference materials I got in the digital format were all over the place. Like I have pins on Pinterest, which, different boards, and those are nice and organized, but I forget about them when it's not something super specific, like my main categories for looking for things. I also feel like I have a lot of reels that I've watched on social media or YouTube shorts with key tips for me professionally and also with health and wellness. And I screenshot them, or I try to screenshot them, but you don't get the full extent of what they are when they're in a reel, because it's not all explained in like a visual format. It's in a video, and without being able to save the video per se, it's really hard to capture that content. So that was another thing that was kind of bugging me. I have collections on Instagram for, the different things I've wanted to come back to that I've saved. And that's great, but again, it's something that's kind of like in another place. So I have Pinterest, I have Instagram, I have my screenshot database of everything that I've kind of come across on the web, social, that has any kind of reference or interest that I want to look at, and no real sorting method for that either. And then finally, I have my iPhone notes, which I haven't even gone through yet, which will be another process in general to clean out. Those are just some of the issues that I'm facing as far as having things all over the place and not being able to really utilize that key information when I need it. I looked around for solutions. A lot of people do this digitally in like a digital format, which might work for me, but I've kind of discussed some of the hindrances that I found in that digital format. Is that even trying to collect things that are like video references and stuff would be very difficult in a digital format, unless, I guess, if I utilized one source and was able to do everything in one source, like maybe Pinterest or something, I could do it, but I just find it a little bit cumbersome to save things to Pinterest out of social media. Even when I find things on the web, it's not very easy to save to Pinterest from my phone. I don't know. I'm a paper girl, and most of you are probably a paper girl too, or paper boy, and like to, really get the visual of it, hold it in your hand and write things down. It just helps me really solidify the information that I've got and not let it kind of pass through onto the next thing that takes my attention. That said, that was my thought process here, and I found that this commonplacing is pretty common here in the planner and journaling world. So I did a little bit of research, just kind of saw what other people were doing. Some people really take the creativity up a lot and just like customize each page with whatever they're referencing and make it cute and fun. And that sounded really cool, but I know that I will not have that kind of time to do like full customized themed spreads around the reference material. So I thought, well, what else could I do to keep this looking and feeling interesting to me to be in, but not be too overwhelming? So hence my standard let's theme it method of taking all the pages and theming them in a single theme. That really helps give you the look and the feel of fun and cuteness and whatever you're going for, but eliminate some of the stress of coming up with customized looks and feels for every page. So I'm just continuing on with the same kind of method on each, theming this out, and I'll talk now a little bit more about what I'm referencing. So I have mentioned, things that I tried to save. The very first page, I don't know if you noticed when I was showing you my faux memo printer, had some faux memo prints on it using some clear label paper I had in my stash. And that came specifically from a reel. So what I did was I took a screenshot of the reel for reference, the visual of the reel that would help remind me of what it was. And then I took notes on what they were showcasing or teaching in the reel so that I could easily reference it without having to watch the reel over and over again. I could just pull out the page and then put it to work. Specifically, that first page was for design, so there were some tips that I saw on a reel that I wanted to use in Illustrator. And again, it just wasn't in a convenient format for me to reference while I'm actually designing things. So this is really going to be helpful, I think, in that sense of grabbing reference materials as well. Also, I thought that this would be a nice place to collect those items like books that people recommend just randomly to people, not to me specifically, but like to the internet. And just really wanted it to be a place that I could catch all things, if that makes sense. I just have so many random things in different categories just saved all over in my digital life and even in my real life too. I have, slips of paper and jotted notes down and random post-its just everywhere. So again, I wanted some place to really gather all of that material and have a organized and efficient system in order to reference it. So that's what I am doing with this Commonplace planner, and hopefully that kind of explained a little bit more about it and how I'm using it. There are a lot of reference materials online talking about commonplacing, so if you just want to get an idea of how to do it and how to get started, I will definitely recommend other people's videos that really know a lot more about it. This is my first time getting into this, and so I just did what I thought would work, and we have yet to see how it turns out in the end. But so far, so good. I really am liking the process and the visual aspects of commonplacing and putting it down on paper. It's definitely helped me remember and solidify all those things that I've wanted to have available to me in a nice, convenient format. So that is it, friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye!